Hello everyone, welcome to another class to go. I am Ruth Norton. I'm so happy you're joining me. I'm just zooming in just a little bit, bear with me here. This class to go features the For the Books bundle. This is a sweet little bundle that's in our mini catalog. Now, at the time of recording these videos, this bundle was still available. It is on the last chance list though, so if it has been discontinued by the time these videos air, fear not, your kit will include all the die cut pieces you need. So you will still need the stamp set or something similar, but your all the pieces that need die cut from the kit will come die cut in your kit if this bundle has sold out. If it isn't sold out, you can get this in my online store, but I still wanted to share these projects with you because they are so adorable. So we're using the For the Books bundle. Now, if you want to get this class to go for free, all you need to do is place an order in my online store. All orders over $50 will receive the class kit. Orders over $100 will receive the class kit and 5 bonus cards from my basket. Now, these 5 cards may not coordinate with the For the Books bundle. They're just going to be 5 cards chosen at random from my basket, and they're just used for inspiration or personal use, however you want to use those cards. If your order's over $150, then you're going to get the embellishment that we're using this week for free. And this week we're actually using a ribbon. We're using the linen thread, and this is probably my favorite ribbon or thread or whatever that we have, and so we're going to use that. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I realize my lighting is like really bad. It is so cloudy today, and so I don't have any sunlight to help me out, but you know, we gotta film when we gotta film. So hopefully I can get some good lighting going. All right, so this is the first card that we're making today. I love this little rainbow of books here. Now, this would also be really cute if you did it like ombre, if you did like, you know, dark blues to lighter blues or dark purples to light purples, you know, anything like that. That would be really cute too, but we're gonna do a rainbow color. Now, I've already die cut everything, and some of it has been assembled as well. So, sometimes this assembly of these little books sometimes takes a little bit of time, so I did a little bit of that in advance. So your the rest of the card supplies, we have a Coastal Cabana card base, and then we have a Daffodil Delight piece. This is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8, and then a white piece that is, let me see, 5 by 3 3/4. We're going to do some stamping on our white piece here. We're just going to stamp our greeting. So I'm going to do that in Coastal Cabana ink. Let me pull this up. So we're going to pull this out, and I'm just going to stamp the greeting for the books on the very bottom right of on my basic white. This one there's minimal stamping on this one. We're going to do lots of stamping on the other 3, but this one is minimal stamping, but so super cute. So just down on the bottom there. And then for my little books, I have stamped the little heart in the stamp set, and I stamped them tone on tone. So this one is Poppy Parade. I use Poppy Parade ink. Peach Pie, I use Peach Pie ink. Daffodil Delight ink. Granny Apple Green ink. So our Coastal Cabana book, which is half put together, like I said, and we'll talk about that in just a minute, but I am going to come in and just stamp the little heart. Now, when you're stamping the hearts on the books, make sure that you're stamping them right side up. This little open area down here, we're going to talk about that in a minute. That's for the pages. That's the bottom of the book. A couple of my hearts I stamped upside down, and then I had to go back and re-die cut them. So just make sure that you are stamping those hearts in the correct orientation. All right, let's talk about, let's move this out of the way, and let's talk about our little books. I'm going to bring them out. So I have my Poppy Parade one completed. Well, mostly completed. I need to kind of fan out the little tassel here. So the elements that, all of these are die cut elements. So let me bring out the die so I can show you what we used. So this is the book die. So we cut that out. This piece here, the one that looks like a comb, that is going to make your little tassel. I use this piece here. That is the pages of the book. And then this little tiny banner here, that is the little flag for the book, for the bookmark. So we're going to assemble all 5 of the books in this manner, and I just mixed and matched my little tassels and stuff. You can do it all tone on tone if you want. I like the kind of mix and match, so I cut one of everything out of all 5 of these colors. So we'll go over those colors again: Poppy Parade, Peach Pie, Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green, and Coastal Cabana. And then we're going to do some assembling. So this one is my only one that is fully assembled. We're going to do some different assembling for all of them. So for my little peach pie one, or not my peach pie, my granny apple green one, I've already done the tassel. So we're going to do the other two parts. So for the little pages of the book, it cuts these little slits for the pages, and I like to slide the bookmark right into the little pages there. I think that is it's a fun little touch. It lets you do that, so I'm going to go ahead and just slide it right into the little pages there. And then on the book, it also cuts a little slit right kind of behind the cover of the book. And so I'm going to slide the bookmark even behind that as well. So before I do that, I'm going to use liquid glue. You can use any kind of glue you want for these. I'm going to use my liquid glue that is at the very bottom of the bottle here. And so I'm going to attach this, but I'm going to make sure that that bookmark goes behind the cover of the book. And then with the liquid glue, you do have a couple of seconds to really maneuver things around. Now this is like a little bit finicky. Now if you don't want to do this, if you don't want to go through all these steps, you can just glue the little bookmark to the bottom of the pages. That's okay too. But I love how it actually looks like it's coming out of the book. Isn't that cute? I'm going to use a dimensional later to really hold this down, so I'm not going to worry about it falling out right now. All right, now I already have my tassel done, and I'm looking around for my, I had some bows all tied for my, and now I can't find them. I had all my linen thread bows, and now I can't find them, so we may have to, oh wait, here they are. Oh, I already stuck them on glue dots. Of course I did, because I was thinking ahead. So I'm going to kind of ruffle up the tassel, and we'll make the tassel in just a second, but I'm going to grab one of my glue dots off my roll here that I already put on my glue dot spool, and I'm going to stick that right on the very top of the book. So you're going to need to tie 5 of these little linen thread bows. Then I'm going to grab another glue dot, and I'm going to find the seam of my tassel here. It's in the back here. I'm going to find the seam, and that's where I'm going to put my glue dot for this. And lift that up, and then we'll put that right below our bow. And if you need to ruffle up the tassel a little bit more once it's on the book, you absolutely can do that. Now you can also use liquid glue to adhere that down, but I find that once the tassel is completed, the glue dot is sufficient enough. All right, for our Coastal Cabana book, we're going to do the same thing with the pages. So I'm just going to slide this into one of those pages. You can put them in different pages in all of them if you want, or the same pages, however you want to do that. And once we get the pages on this one will be done as well. I should have grabbed another bottle. All right, so again, I know that this looks a little bit fussy and finicky, but once you get into the habit, well, after you make, 5 of them for your card, you'll be a total pro at this. So cute, right? These little books are just the most adorable thing. All right, now for our Peach Pie and our Daffodil Delight books, I've already got the pages and the bookmarks in, so all we're going to work on is the tassels here. So let's, I'm going to grab a couple of tools. Now I have some reverse tweezers. Now there are reverse tweezers that come in the embossing toolkit. Those have a much bigger point. These I think are Fiskars, and they have a very fine point. If you don't have something with a fine point, you can use like your Take Your Pick tool or something like that. I like the reverse tweezers because they are they hold it nice and well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to very carefully just kind of curl it like you were curling ribbon with my bone folder first. And then I'm going to start on one end, and I'm just going to kind of clip it in my tweezers. Again, the finer your tweezers are, the better. And I'm just going to start turning it. Now, if you don't have the tweezers, again, you could do this around your Take Your Pick tool, or you can just do it with your fingers too. That works too. Now, once I get a couple of rows in, I'm going to use my liquid glue. Now, you could use any adhesive across this. I prefer the liquid glue, but if you're going to use liquid glue here, a little goes a very long way. I didn't put hardly any on there. So just kind of brushed it along. You don't really want to squeeze the bottle, just kind of let the glue come out. And you just want, you know, a couple little drips and drops. All right. And then you just kind of roll it between your fingers a little bit and let that glue really start sticking. All right. And that's your little tassel. So cute. Now, once it's completely dry, we'll start fluffing it up a little bit. Now we're going to do the same thing with our Coastal Cabana tassel, just very carefully. These are very easy to rip because they're, you know, they're like fringed all the way almost to the top. So it's pretty easy to rip. So just be very, very careful. All right, so just kind of get that little roll started there. This is probably the hardest part of the card, is just getting the tassel to start rolling. But once you get it kind of rolling on its way, it goes together very, very easily. Okay, just a little bit of glue, not a lot. This, our green glue, our Tombow multi-purpose glue, is very strong. It is strong and mighty. You do not need a lot. A little of this glue goes a very, very, very long way. All right, so I'm just gonna roll that a little bit just to get all that glue adhering. Perfect. Now we are going to put that, like I said earlier, we do put that glue dot on the very back. If you find the little seam of your tassel, put that glue dot right over the seam, and it will help secure that tassel in place. So even if that liquid glue doesn't want to stick, you still have the security of the glue dot holding everything in place. Okay, let's grab our, oops, I'm gonna stick this on first, but ideally you want to do the little linen thread piece first because you want to make sure that there's enough room for that. So I will pull off my linen thread bow, and we'll stick that right above our tassel. And once it's all on there, then you can go through and kind of fluff up the tassel a little bit. Okay. This is probably a card that if you mail, you will need to add some extra postage because the tassels are a little bit bigger. So add some extra postage, or this is like a hand-delivered card. Maybe this is one you hand to your favorite librarian or somebody, a friend that you know loves to read, that kind of thing. This is a personal delivery one. Then those tassels are really easy to just kind of fluff up. So cute. All right, that's all our books. So not super hard. It is a little bit kind of fussy, but it's not super hard. All right, let me clean up just a little bit, and I'm going to grab some dimensionals, and we're going to start putting these onto our white piece. But actually, before we do that, let's go ahead and get this white piece onto our Daffodil Delight piece onto the card base, because once the books are on there, we're not going to be able to flip this over to add adhesive. So the white piece is just 1/8 of an inch smaller, so you will have to give it just a tiny border, not a big border. And then this goes onto our card base with a larger border. Okay. All right, let's get our books on. So like I said, I'm going to put a dimensional specifically on the bottom to hold that little tassel, and then we'll just put another one kind of in the middle. This is going to get layered up, and since it's all getting layered up with dimensionals, it is going to get a little bit, you know, big. Between the tassels and all those dimensionals, it's going to get pretty big. All right, next up is our peach pie one. So what I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to make sure to put a dimensional on the bottom to hold the tassel, and then I'm going to kind of put one off to the top right. And that's going to further secure just so that it's not overlapping too much. Now I'm not pressing these down all the way. I'm just kind of laying them in place because if we need to kind of move them around, we can do that before they're fully adhered down. So I'm just kind of laying them down. I'm not pressing them in place. Once we get everything really where we want it to be, we can really go in and press it in place. Green, but I want to make sure that the spacing is good on these. So 5 books works really well for this. If you're doing an ombre one, you could do less, you could do more, and just squish them in a little bit more. But it is such a cute card, I think. All right, final final book goes down, and just make sure that you're not going off the edges. All right, I like it. So we're gonna press all those dimensionals down, make sure they're nice and secure. And that completes card number 1. So adorable, right? I just love all of those beautiful books. I'm making sure I put this on right side up. Wouldn't that be horrible? So thank you so much for joining me for today. I'll be back for card number 2 tomorrow in our class to go. I hope you join me then. Bye.